Today we go into the most beloved game in the Soulsborne series. Dark Souls 2, baby! Following the footsteps of his grandfather, Ooga Booga Jr. quickly learned that the best thing a man can do in life is grab a big old club and go bonkers. And that's exactly what he did. Who needs tutorials where you can go directly to Majula? Ah, what a nice place. Let's chill with the homies, watch the sun fade behind the everlasting sea. Oh, wait, lack of club alert, lack of club alert. Oh well, guess we will find one on our way. In the meantime, let's beat every single enemy in the Forest of Giants with our bare hands. Right hook, left jab, gut punch, bam! And now everyone is piling on me. Rude. 1v25 seems unfair. But who cares, because we actually have found a merchant, and they sell a wood club. Hey, just for being so kind, I will murder you. What I will murder is the last giant. No Estus? Just a brink of HP left? Well, Ooga Booga Jr. has bigger balls than his granddad ever did, cause holy moly, he just wrecked that boss. And speaking of that, hey, look, it's the Pursuer doing the big bird trick. How I am supposed to defeat this huge knight? Well, say hello to my little friend! Who put a fucking talking cat in Majula? Let's hop in Hyda's Ruin, and Ruin is what I'll bring, because there is no armor in this universe that can withstand the bongness of Ooga Booga Jr. Not even if you are a Dragon Rider. Well, maybe if you're a Dragon Rider, you can survive for a little bit longer. Great, so now that's done, let's return to Majula and level up. Only vitality and strength allowed. That is my love language. Wow, this cave is so dark. Better light it up and be careful to not stand in my way, or the
fire will burn your flesh and cleanse your very soul.
Oh, what a cool looking outfit this NPC has. But I don't really care or understand anything she says, so I'll be leaving. Apologies. I have no time to spare, because the ghost ship has arrived, and with it my chance to beat the flexible sentry. What a cool boss! Its unique design and the fact the game does not reuse it at all makes it feel unique and distinct. And oh look, my weapon broke. But I don't give a shit, I can still fight with my fist. You will feel my wrath, I will destroy... Oh. Okay. Round 2, mother... Now I am the captain of all these idiots. Take me to victory, if you please. Wait, this is not victory. This is the Lost Bastille. Ugh, I hate this place. And there is the Pursuer? I thought I sent you to hell with my heavy machinery. Well, since I am here, I guess I'll go through the place. And oh look, is another cool lady with a cool outfit. Ooga Booga Jr. does find wearing clothes in general a sign of weakness, but girl, that drip cool as f***. Since we're here, let's go take on the Lost Sinner. But on the way, let's say hi to this unique design that does not get reused at all in this game. And this one is one of the main reasons I think people hate on this game. One of the most important bosses of Dark Souls 2 is this. It's just an old dude with a sword. But not like the other old dudes with a sword in this saga. This one doesn't do crazy tricks. He's just kinda there. Well, one primal flame acquired, 3 more to go. For now, let's take a detour and talk to a weird guy in a wheelchair, and while we are at it, it'd be cool if Ooga Booga Jr. went to the Huntman's Copse to defeat and humiliate a couple of invaders and dispatch the Skeleton Lords. The Skeleton Lords, ha! More like the Skeleton Jokes, am I right, fellas? Alright? Man, what a shitty boss design. Dark Souls 2, please, step it up. After that little detour, we can go on to the next main challenge, the legally required Poisonous Swamp. Thank you, Dark Souls 2. Here we can find a lot of interesting mechanics and concepts, like these Pyro Witches that have a close range attack that casts instantly. Do you know what it also does instantly? On a live view, as my fellow Z-Gen would say. You know what they wouldn't say though? Subscribe to this channel. If you like it, then you should put a ring on it. Just saying. But yeah, it helps a lot, so be my guest. After climbing the shitty windmill for a while, I found the most disgusting, horrendous, dirty boss I've ever seen in this series. A League of Legends player. Uga Buga Jr. put it out of its misery and kept climbing. Oh look, a chest! Hopefully it will contain a big strong club. Uga Buga Jr., open it please. It is time to battle against Mitha, the baneful queen. Better avoid the poison, because Uga Buga honestly has had enough. The fight was a little bit tense until the aggressive Caveman found an opening and then... wow, that HP bar goes down fast. After that Pursuit Simulator, we found an elevator that led to an iron castle? Flooded with lava? On top of a windmill? Here's the second reason not a lot of people like this game. It's coherence. Environmental and scenario coherence, to be precise. None of this makes any sense. It did in the first one, it kind of does in the third, it doesn't in this one. Well, moving on. Sir Alone Knights are so fucking cool. They look like knights, but they also have somehow this ninja vibe to them. They're awesome and a little bit tricky if you're not careful. Here lies on our way the Smelter Demon, and I had some personal beef with this motherfucker, because in my first blind playthrough of this game, this fucking thing killed me like 150 times. So yeah, it's time for revenge, right, Uga Buga Jr.? Well, I guess we'll return later. Uga Buga conveniently forgot the Smelter Demon existed and went down a well in Majula to pay a visit to the rats, his original species. There we found Matty Healy, the Royal Rat Vanguard, and it was actually on the hard side of Dark Souls 2 bosses, as they managed to kill me a couple of times. However, Uga Buga Jr. managed to come out on top and proceeded to make a deal with the Rat King. That deal involved traversing the Blight Town of this game, which is somehow worse than the original, and defeating the Rotten. So there Uga Buga Jr. went, sneaking behind the undead and avoiding the poison darts. This part was actually really smooth for some reason, and even though the Rotten killed me a couple of times, I defeated him quite easily and earned my second Primordial Fire. Hey, wait, that's cool and stuff, but aren't we forgetting something? Oh shit! Fuck you, Smelter Demon! Fuck you, Iron Keep! I am the ultimate caveman, and I have a big, chunky club right now! After destroying the Smelter Demon, the Iron King felt like a pushover, and that was what I was talking about earlier. This is a really cool boss design, but all he does is punch the floor with his muscular arms and a couple of swings. Mechanically, this beast is a joke and the least epic thing I can think of. But well, at least we have gotten a great soul. Only one is left before we can go to Drangleic's castle. And speaking of that, to get to the Duke's place, we first got to go through the shaded woods and be careful to not get stabbed in the back. I got a great strategy for this magical forest, which mainly consists of running until I get away with it. It is also called the Secret Joester technique. After getting to meet the local people, Uga Buga Jr. had an appointment with Nanchka, a weird scorpion lady that does not feel like Quillag 2.0 at all. Anyways, at this point, even though Uga Buga Jr.'s bongness power was off the charts, the fight was really close because I didn't have that many Estus, but luckily enough, I managed to defeat her with a brink of health, clinging on life. After entering the doors of Pharos that Nanchka was guarding, we returned for a bit to Majula to talk with the boys. Upon my return to Pharos, I discovered that there had been some strange error in the matrix and enemies were not moving. Huh. Weird. Anyways, I ransacked the place, and after depleting all the natural resources of Pharos, then the enemies realized they should been trying to stop me. Uga Buga Jr. escaped to the Blight blah 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 Cope Sedora, and after defeating an entire army, he got tricked again by a mimic. He's not a smart fella, but we love him anyways. And then he opened a spider-themed door, and into the dungeon he went because it was his canon event. There we found Prowling Magus and the Congregation, which is a boss fight as shitty as the skeleton jokes, and there will be no more comments about that. After erasing 1/3 of the spider population and its mutant variants, I went for the queen, Freya, who is not also bigger, but she has a laser, people. A laser. However, as you can see, each bonk I provided dealt unholy loads of damage, and so the battle ended rather swiftly, with me as its winner. We lit the last primal bonfire and a weird amalgamation came to talk to us about non-important stuff. I don't know, something about the True King in the north, I can't even remember it. But with the 4 big chunky flames under my belt, I now could go pay a visit at Drangleic castle and see Vendrick, the king that did something to the giants. I don't know, I haven't been paying attention, I'm sorry. After we arrived to Vendrick's place, we were given a full tour through the castle, and we were able to meet the attentive servants of the castle, and here are some highlights of the place. A weird room full of masks that threw poison, the fucking pyro witches that one-shot you if you are too close to them, and a portrait of the queen that was cursed. Pretty neat. However, the icing on the cake was meeting the actual queen, and I don't know, she seems sketchy. Once the tour has concluded, Uga Buga Jr. went to tie some loose ends and killed a wyvern, an Ornstein wannabe, and gathered some items for what was coming. And what was coming? With my energies reinvigorated, I went to tackle the Mirror Knight, which has the coolest design, the coolest arena, the coolest atmosphere. Oh my god, I love this man, yes sir! I knew deep down he really did not wish to harm me, but he was actually protecting me from the following area, which is the shittiest area I've ever seen with these mages. I hate them so much, and the fucking demon of song, look at this ugly mother. Oh my god, this place is horrendous, how can you deal with all of it? Anyways, after traversing that pocket version of hell, I ventured into the catacombs, where I found a guide that told me that we cool, but please do not bring light to the dead. He kinda lit, so I continued my journey without thinking about it too much. In the deepest part of the catacombs, I found the actual king, Vendrick, who has gone completely insane and just wanders around. I stole his ring and ditched the place without looking back. I'm sorry, Vendrick. With the king's ring in my power, I went to a creepy manor and ignored everything that was there to fight the guardian dragon, who proved to not be worthy of the dragon title because honestly, he fell too easy. But alas, Uga Buga Jr. finally reached one of the latest areas of the game, the Dragon Area. What dangers could possibly await us there? Well, as you will see, lots. The Dragon Area had a lot of tough enemies and I had to be really careful to not be caught by surprise, as there were lots of narrow spaces with ambushed enemies ready to throw themselves at me and explode. I sought an audience with the big-ass dragon and he told me something about the memories of the giants and gave me a weird power. So off we went to visit the giants' memories, as if we were Leonardo DiCaprio visiting strangers' dreams. And once we had all the memories of the giants, the big-ass dragon wasn't useful anymore, so Uga Buga Jr. applied capitalist logic and decided to end him. After becoming a renowned dragon slayer, I returned to the catacombs to put Vendrick out of his misery. Equipped with the giant souls, the monarch did less damage and had less health, but I had to be very careful nevertheless, because a sword slash of him could easily take away 3/4 of my health. With Vendrick bending the knee, I was now ready to claim the throne and become the Dark Souls 2. But before that I thought a trip to the 3 DLCs wouldn't hurt as much. I am going to really oversimplify what went on, but there you go. DLC number 1 was a series of temples where I died a lot because of poison and goofy ass traps and shenanigans, and then I fought against 2 bosses. The first one was a Squalid Queen. Squalid Queen? What the fuck is a Squalid Queen supposed to be? But anyways, I defeated Alana and then I went to face Sin, the slumbering dragon that seems to be made of stone. I defeated both of them in my first try, and if there were more bosses, I honestly couldn't be bothered at this point. Then I unfortunately went to DLC 3 instead of DLC 2 and fought Abba the King's Pet for like 2 hours. That little tiger somehow was the toughest boss I have seen so far. After defeating him, I realized my mistake and backtracked to get to DLC 2. And honestly, I found DLC 2 great and really cool, and all the going up and down and back and forth in the forge was really interesting and exciting. As you can see, this wasn't my first playthrough of Dark Souls 2, but it actually was the first time I was playing the DLC. I didn't find Sir alone, but people have told me it is an amazing boss fight, but who I did find was the Fume Knight, and oh my god, this guy, I spent way too much trying to defeat him. It got to a point where I basically had memorized his entire moveset, and that was the key to victory. I am sorry Ava, but the number 1 spot for toughest boss goes to this dude. After grabbing the Fume Knight crown, I went to the Old Chaos in DLC 3 and fought the final DLC boss, the Burnt Ivory King, who proceeded to wreck and tore me into pieces. I went onto a side quest to bring my Ice Boys to the fight, and then it went kind of better, but I got crushed and defeated and destroyed and decimated and killed and murdered, and it all happened again and again and again and again and again and again. And so, after a couple hours getting no results, I decided to leave the Ivory King alive and become a fellow monarch. So, in the future, I may rebattle him. Therefore, I returned to Vendrick's castle and opened the last barrier that separated me from the Throne of Want, the final area of the game. I traversed the mist to find the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender, a fearsome duo that got absolutely demolished by me. Holy shit did I hit hard, these numbers are ridiculous. The Watcher fell first, and then I just had to roll from time to time and bonk the hell out of the Defender. When the Throne guys were defeated, a villainous silhouette appeared, and as it softly spoke about the dark, I realized it was the sketchy queen I talked to long ago. Nashandra, now a vessel for death itself, battled fiercely against me as she threw curses that lowered my health and dehumanized me. However, Ooga Booga Jr. doesn't deal in ifs, buts or maybes, and so, with a big old chunky, enormous bonk, Nashandra was destroyed. I was about to claim the throne when the Fire Amalgamation Aldea, Scholar of the First Sin, emerged from the floor and decided that only a fight would resolve our dispute. What dispute? Ooga Booga Jr. actually doesn't know. But do you know what else I didn't know? Well, staying near Aldea would burn me alive. But hey, I actually discovered that rather quickly. And now with that information, I was able to dodge the vicious flames and prove the sorcerer that there is nothing sinful about caveman logic. And so, with Aldea defeated, the throne was at my grasp. But Ooga Booga Jr. felt weird. After pondering it for some time and celebrating victory like any of us would do, Ooga Booga Jr. decided to walk away. Light, darkness, mere simple concepts for the common man. Who needs those things when you have a piece of dirty rag and a big strong wood club? That's the path Ooga Booga Jr. would take. And so I would, honestly. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you reach this part, I'll kindly ask you to subscribe, comment us your thoughts, and share our channel with anyone who might like it. Your support means the world to us. Until we meet again.